Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob. I'll be your host. One of my favorite genres to play games in is the post-apocalyptic, usually taking place hundreds of years after the apocalyptic event, so that things have had time to grow and change and mutate. And it's always fun for adventures that way. And the book we're going to talk about in this video is The Mutant Epoch. This book has 246 pages and a copyright of 2011. It was published by Outland Arts, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white, and it's pretty decent. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. This is the first picture we see when we open the book. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. Every chapter begins with a really neat looking full page picture, and it goes a long way to setting a proper tone and mood for this game. And I particularly like the picture they give for the proper way to use a meat shield. To use this book, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this core rule book and a full set of dice. A full set of dice containing a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably two 10-sided dice for rolling both percentiles and tens, an 8-sided die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. Character creation in this game is a little weird. Pretty simple, but kind of strange. The first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to determine what kind of character you're going to play. And there are two ways to do this. There is a chart that you can roll a percentile die on to tell you what kind of character you're going to play, or you can pick one. The chart is broken up into three parts. There's beginners, experienced players, and master players. And this is how much experience you have with role-playing in general. But you roll a percentile on that chart, and it'll give you the type of character you're going to play. And the types of characters there are in this game, there are pure stock humans, there are clones, which is broken up into three parts. There are comfort, labor, and military clones. There are bioreplicas, which is broken up into five parts. There are pleasure, industrial, clerical, infiltration, and battle bioreplicas. There are transhumans. There are cyborgs. There are bestial humans. Think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it gives you a big chart of different animals you can pick from. There are ghost mutants. These are mutants who have mental powers and are hard to tell that are mutants until they use their powers. And then you have mutants, which is broken up into four parts, which is mild, typical, severe, and freakish. After you determine what type of character you're going to play, you'll figure up your attributes. The attributes that this game uses are endurance, strength, agility, accuracy, intelligence, perception, willpower, and appearance. And for each of these, you roll a percentile and check it on a chart. And that'll tell you what the attribute is. And you just go down the line. It also gives you some optional rules for determining your attributes, such as point buy and so forth. But you got some choices. The only two character types that will not roll on the chart they have is the clones and the bioreplicas. They have their own way of determining their attributes with their descriptions. So that's pretty neat. You then pick a program cast determination, and this is what your character did before the adventure started. You roll a percentile on that, and before you started adventuring, you were maybe a slave, you were a farmer, an assassin, or something. Just tells you what you did before you got started. Your skills will be determined by what you roll there on a different chart, and it'll tell you what to do to figure them up. After that, you determine your height and weight, hand dominance, swimming ability, and that's pretty much it along the lines of the charts you'll have to roll on. You'll figure up your starting equipment and so forth. All characters in this game will start at rank 1, and as you play, you'll get experience. That's in this book, it's called experience factors. And as you gain them, you'll gain ranks. And as you gain ranks, you get more skill points and so forth. Each character in this game has a strike value and a defense value used for combat. And the way it works is when you go to attack somebody, after you determine initiative, you roll a percentile. And you have to roll equal to your strike value or lower in order to hit. Now, the defense value that others have, that'll subtract from your strike value, making it a little more hard to hit. But a roll of 2 to 5 on the percentile is always a hit, regardless of what the strike value is. A 1 is always a critical hit. Adversely, a 96 to 99 on the roll is always a miss. And if you roll 100 on the percentile to hit, it's always a fumble or a mishap. This book also has a hazards chart for when you're trying to do different tasks, and each hazard will be granted an A to an M rating by the game master, and you use the appropriate attribute and check it out to see what the percentage is that you could succeed. You roll percentile to see if you succeed. And hazards would be stuff like trying to jump a ravine, spending time in an irradiated area, just accomplishing certain tasks that could get you killed. But this book has a pretty good chapter on equipment that you can get and how to rig things up, make things of your own. Has a good chapter on encounters, how to build them. Has a chapter in here on all kinds of different animals and monsters that you could run into in this game. It's got a chapter devoted to replaying all the charts that you'll find throughout the book. It's got an appendix that gives you a bunch of different vehicles you can find. It's also got a section in here on relics, which is stuff that were around before the apocalypse. Machine guns, motorcycles, that kind of thing. It's even got a blank character sheet that you can photocopy in the back, and some hex paper that you can copy for making maps. This book gives a history of how the apocalypse happened, what came after, and how the world got in this current state. All in all, this is a pretty cool game. It can be a little daunting to get started, and I haven't actually played it yet, but I want to. There's a lot of cool stuff in this book, but there's also a lot of ways to get killed and die in this book. This book has pretty good mortality rate from what I've heard, but all in all, I'm very interested in this game. This brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? And I'm going to have to say yes. I like the post-apocalyptic settings, so there's stuff in here for me. Would I run this game? Again, I'm going to have to say yes. I like the post-apocalypse. I love weird games that have a lot of things that could get you killed in them if you mess up. So this book is right up my alley. Would I recommend this game? And yeah, I'd recommend it. It seems like the type of game that'll be a little bit tricky to run in the beginning, but I think once you get used to it, it'd be a very neat game. That's pretty much all I got to say for the Mutant Epoch. Thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.